morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Check. Coming in with the energy on this Monday.
Check 1 2. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, October 30th,
Man.
2023. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha. How's everybody doing out there? I see we got some people in the chat already. Remember Snipe says, good morning, y'all. Tamika Johnson said, let's go. All right.
Let's go.
Excited.
Yeah.
Esther Hagan says, good morning. Good morning to you. Leia Keister in the morning saying, happy marvelous Monday.
Okay.
All right.
Marvelous.
Vaughn Chapman says, delightfully present. Okay. That's what's up. Glad to hear that. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Julie Prinzer says, happy Monday morning, family. Pops in the chat. Good morning, First Sky. Good morning, Pops. Mark Manor says, how can one top delightfully present? I heard that.
I'm saying.
And Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning, and Christy Nora gives us a good morning. Thanks for everybody that got up early this morning with us. That's what's up.
They ready.
Mira Sanchez says, I guess. So, man, it's like Facebook and YouTube is working pretty well. So thank you for joining us this morning. And do us a favor, share the show on your page if you would. And, it's getting as many people in to check it out as we can. We still are a pretty grassroots situation over here. So it's been word of mouth that spreads this show.
Yeah, man.
Planning on doing some things to expand that a little bit. But for the most part, it's been a good move just to be able to have people that are already interested and introduce this to other people that are interested and build the family from there. So that's what's up. Amy H. Dot in the house. Good morning, fam. Good morning to you too.
Yeah, real organic. Like, I definitely appreciate seeing Miss Hagen's name. That's kind of a new name that has joined us recently. And, a friend of a friend told her. She came through.
That's what's up. Appreciate that. What's going on with you, buddy?
Man, life is lifing. I'll be honest, but I'm definitely excited for today, man. Today is it's gonna be a good week of shows.
Yeah, absolutely. What you excited about the most,
man? Well, of course, talking today. If you don't know, if you haven't heard, talking to Dr. Umar Johnson today, so it should be an interesting thing, brother. Qasim bringing them through as they celebrate 4 years of work at the Beeee.
Man,
yeah, man. Kind of born out of Freedom Summer and doing the work, man. Yeah. Celebrating and bringing minds to the community. That's what we need. It's definitely what we need. So definitely looking forward to that conversation. I also was supposed to be having Brother Willie Barney on Wednesday. We'll see if he makes it back, if he doesn't get cold feet or what happens. But
I don't think so. I think
I don't think so either. I'm definitely looking forward to speaking with him again. A lot more questions to ask. for brother Willie Barney and the Empowerment Network and 360 and yeah, a lot more conversation to have. Hopefully, speaking of Kasim and brother Willie Barney, hopefully they had that conversation or will be having their conversation very soon. Because again, trying to bridge gaps, trying to build. That's what we're here for. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, we definitely have a full house today because we also have the brothers Senators Terrelle McKinney and Justin Wayne on this morning.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna be on a little bit earlier this morning than normal, so we'll talk to them around 7:30, and then our brother Umar and our brother Kasim will be on at about 8 o'clock today. So stay tuned for all the
Man,
special guests that's going on today. And if you have questions, of course, get those questions ready. And if those of you that don't know who Brother Umar Johnson is, you'll find out today. So I
man.
encourage you to stick with it. Come on through, and be here with the guests with us. Appreciate that. Tony Johnson in the chat. Good morning. Says a lot more answers needed. Questions have been asked over years.
Okay.
Talking about having questions for Brother Willie Barney. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to having him back on Wednesday, and yeah, more questions, more discussion coming. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess how did you feel with that? How that went with like people sending questions beforehand, and do you feel
that,
like
that,
that's the way we should handle guests?
that definitely
Mm.
helps. It's for special guests that people have a lot of questions for. Definitely sending them beforehand and giving us a chance to kind of figure out how to work them in the show definitely helps instead of me trying to read all the chat, especially if they're longer questions too, because the chat's not really built for super long questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Although they work their diatribes in every once in a while.
yeah, we skip over them all the time too, just for that reason. So yeah, it's a little tough to go through 'em that way on the fly like that. So it's good to kind of be able to read through them and understand what's happening. Maybe change a word or two here in order to make it flow a little better and do that. So yeah, anytime that we have any anticipated guests coming along, that you got questions for, definitely send them over. You can send them to firstsky@gmail.com
Hey.
and yeah, give us a chance to kind of figure out how to work them in the show.
Yeah,
That's what
man.
it's all about.
Yeah, man. Coming in excited, Sister Gwen Easter. This is going to be a good show.
Yeah, hope
Yeah.
so. Hope so.
Yeah.
Michelle Moreno in the chat. Good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming over there on
Yeah.
YouTube.
They coming in this morning, tippy top of the morning. So yeah, definitely looking forward to today's conversation. As always, if you have any questions for either the senators or Brother Johnson or Brother Kasim, I definitely feel free to drop that into the chat. But try to keep it concise as possible, as Paul mentioned, because yeah, we yeah, those diatribes kind of start to blend together when you're looking from our perspective. So yeah, help us out, help us help you is what we like to say. Paul B, man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, man. Definitely anticipating today's show. Need to get some things straight so that we can make sure that we provide the service that we're here to provide, and definitely ask the questions and get on the same page. So yeah, just trying to juggle all the things. So
Yeah.
not too bad. I'm seeing Terry Crawford is talking about something. I meant to mention this too because I heard that this was going to be a good one. She says pipeline at the Omaha Community Playhouse is a must see. School to prison pipeline is the focus.
Oh, okay.
We hear about
Okay.
this play coming up. Yeah.
Man,
So I
man.
appreciate the review on that. We'll definitely have to remember to grab that, put that in the haps.
Might
And,
actually might have to, talk to Brother Umar about that. That's yeah. It's gonna be a good show. I think I'm with you, Sister Gwen Easter. There's a lot of conversations that's gonna come up. But thank you for letting us know about that, Sister Crawford. I'm kind of curious. Is the community playhouse they acting right now? I know there was some controversy. We was kind of giving them the side eye when a couple months ago with this the way their award show played out,
mm,
canceling it. A lot of questions. Did they ever reschedule that?
I don't think so. I don't think that happened.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think
Yeah.
so. If I remember correctly, the report said people got their awards in the mail.
That's rough. That's
Yeah,
rough.
yeah. So yeah, just wondering. Community Playhouse. They are there quote unquote black folk in the pipeline play?
Well, yeah, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, that was the question.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm pretty much assuming that they're yeah. I mean, I'm looking at some of the photos here. Everybody on stage is black so far.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
yeah, so it
Just
should be
wonder.
good.
Just wonder.
Mama got it. I saw Mama got sneak in there. Where is she at? She said, "Good morning, fam. Appreciate
Hey,
that." Gwen Easter says, I would like you to ask Doctor if he started his school when he comes on. Thank you. Yeah, well,
Yep.
of
Oh yeah,
course,
we'll definitely
definitely
get into
talk
that.
about the there was the big controversy with him was whether or not he did had the school going, and I've watched a few interviews now of him talking about some of the holdups that took place. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. As a matter of fact, I think that a lot of things that I want to know about have to do with education. You know, we're kind of talking about he had a school that he's putting together, a private school for black kids that is the kind of thing that we talked about trying to have here in Omaha, like
Hmm.
wanting here in order. And a lot of people backed certain bills and things like that in order to be able to have the freedom to do that. But we often talk about like how hard it is to do something like that. So here's somebody who's actually in the middle of doing it or has done it, and it'd be good to talk to him about how hard that was and what he had in the state that he did it in. Was the tax incentives the same, and all the questions that we have that relates to the issues that we've been talking about here. So it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Brother Mira Sanchez says, "First Sky is where the rubber meets the road." Okay,
Okay.
appreciate that. Stephen Abraham in the chat. Good morning. Says we made it through another rotation. Good morning, Grand Rising, everyone. Appreciate that. Tony Johnson says recommend roundtables on show about education. Start with old board members like Kimmer Snipes and Justin Wayne, and current like Brianna Full and Ricky Smith. Talk about what went wrong before and now. It's a good
Mm.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea. Von Chapman is saying more receipts are needed rather than just rhetoric. Heard that. Brother Sherman Wells in the chat. Good morning. He says, just a reminder that Mr. Blake is still missing. It's been 74 days. Man.
Man. Again, I've been kind of waiting on that situation. Thank you, brother Wells, for reminding us. Um, yeah. Again, let us know what's going on with that. Still would like to definitely talk to you. I know you're kind of in the thick of the investigation. I know there's still an ongoing investigation, although it's been 74 days. I would definitely love to get some updates on that whenever you can, because I know again with ongoing investigations, that's kind of a difficult thing as far as getting and disseminating information.
Yeah, love to talk to you some more about that for sure. But yeah, please still be on the lookout. It's been man since August 17th. He's been missing now, so that's
74 days, man.
yeah, that's a long time for anybody to be missing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of numbers here to call: 470-216-5793 or 531-203-3810. Give them a call if you've seen him. Appreciate that very much. Thanks for the reminder on that, brother Wells. Also in the chat, Terry Crawford in the chat. Good morning. Says yes, black writer and producer and predominantly black cast. I was on the panel last night, and y'all know I am very Malcolm leaning.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so talking about that pipeline play, definitely check it out. Mr. Kimber Snipes says I recommend people offer what they can do. Yeah, too. Yeah, I heard that.
Hey,
Most definitely. Most definitely.
manpower is definitely a need over here.
Yep. Tony Johnson is asking for another roundtable. He might have to be the roundtable manager around here. Let's see what's going on.
Send out
Said,
some emails, make some phone calls, something.
man, Thomas Warren and Willie Barney with Qasim and Sherman Wells talk about crime and violence. Yeah, these are some good ideas for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. And hopefully in 2024 we'll be working on facilitating a lot more of these types of things. But it does take manpower and money, like we all say. So we'll definitely be looking at that and trying to do some more and figure some things out. But I'm definitely jotting these ideas down. These are some good matchups here that we need to sit some people down and have some conversation. It'd be great. Brother Kasim in the house already. He said, "Peace, fellas. What's going on, Brother Kasim? Thanks for
Peace,
joining us."
peace. Yeah. Looking
Stephen
forward to
Abraham
it.
is already in the questions for Dr. Umar. He says, "I think it would be a good question to ask Dr. Umar if Tunde on how he feels about the private school advantage for minorities."
Oh
Yep,
yeah. Yeah.
that's probably going to be the main issue, main conversation today. So we'll definitely see. Brother Kasim said,
Ah.
myself and Sherman Wells met with Barney yesterday. Went great, man.
Oh, okay.
Man, I
Hey,
can't wait to hear that.
hey.
Can't wait to hear about that. That's awesome.
Man, that's huge. That's breaking news right here. That's kind of that's our front, front page news right there.
Yeah, it is. That's what's up, man. I'm
Man,
glad. I'm glad to hear that. That's what's up,
community meeting, community leaders have a meeting of the mind.
bro. Man, we got to talk next. We got to talk when you get on and talk about that meeting. Definitely want to hear about that. And yeah, that's
Man,
awesome. That's awesome.
powerful. That's powerful is what it is. Beautiful, beautiful.
Glad to hear it. Once again, a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening right now. We got this full house today. Special guest, Brother Senators Terrelle McKinney and Justin Wayne, and Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother
Man.
Qasim coming. We got a full house today here on First Sky Omaha. So stay tuned all the way through. And if you miss any of this show, you know what to do. You can always look back on in it on its entire on it in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. Let's go ahead and get the show started once again. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Get it going. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Fresh edition on Monday, October the 30th, 2023. Thanks for joining us. All of you ghost listeners, all of you chat chimers, all of you radio listeners as well. Let us know how the mix was on the 630 club this morning. Appreciate you guys that got
Man.
up to check it out for sure. And it's us today. We're hosting Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd in the room. It's going down. Amy Holmes says, "Happy Monday, everyone. Appreciate you joining us this morning." Mr. Rome's Review says, "Hit the like button." And yeah, he's reminding us to go ahead, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, please go ahead and like and subscribe over there.
Okay. Now he said hot the like button. Go ahead and make it hot. Make it hot.
Make it hot, the like button. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. If you're just joining us once again, we do have a full house today, brother Senators Justin Wayne and Terrelle McKinney are coming on, and then after that, Dr. Umar Johnson in the house, and along with brother Qasim. So, man, kind of Men's Monday today again, and we got a full house again. Yeah.
A little bit. It's kind of shaping up to be that. Man. Full house, no Olsen twins. Yeah, we in here. It's not Bob Saget. It's Umar Johnson.
That's a very 90s reference right there. Very 90s. Very.
Oh man, yeah.
In the meantime, between time, we also got a few things to talk about that's in the news. Thanks for everybody who's been putting stuff in Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. I did see something that Miss Kimra Snipes put out about a opportunity for some contractors to come through. Matter of fact, she says, "Are you a subcontractor tradesperson? The city of Omaha has got an upcoming opportunity for you to bid to work on phase 1 of the Southside Terrace redevelopment." So it's a couple of events. She says the event will discuss a subcontractor bidding opportunity for Southside Terrace Phase 1, for which Louder Construction has been hired as the general contractor. The meeting also will include an update on the Choice Neighborhood South construction schedule, a review of government requirements, and have technical assistance from local and service providers available. All contractors, including subcontractors, trades, and Section 3 business interests, are encouraged to attend. And she gives a email address here that I'll put in the chat if I can grab it for the person to contact if you're interested in this. Man. So yeah, this is
opportunity,
a good opportunity. Yes, we know that the Southside Terrace things are happening, and we always talk about this all the time. Can we get some people from the Black community in the Hispanic community get some contracts here for some of these major things? A few years back when Metropolitan Community College built those big 3 buildings, I was actually covering some of these meetings for the school, and so yeah, I've seen it was when Kiewit came out and was doing the same thing, trying to help other smaller contractors have the certifications that they needed and all the stuff that they needed in order to be able to bid on some of these jobs. And it didn't seem like a whole lot of it came of it, but maybe the process is different this time with a different company. But shout out to Kimmer Snipes for putting that out there. We always want to try to help our contractors get some work.
Man,
very much so, and get some of these big. I mean, man, we talk about Tiff Alley. How many contractors of color had anything to do with any of these construction jobs out here?
Man, I mean, that's we talk about solutions journalism here. That's there's always a solution if you're looking for it. There's always, and if it's not a solution, it's an opportunity if you're looking for it. Again, like you said, we would complain and talk about Tiff Ali a lot, but yeah, if you're willing to change your perspective on it, it could definitely be an opportunity, even though it's not directly, or it's kind of built upon our blight. Um, we can still advance from it economically. Again, I'm for those who don't know, I'm here in Atlanta right now in a big way. Everybody talks about the economic base of Atlanta and just kind of the upward mobility, especially of communities that have historically been on the margins. And a lot of that is contract work. A lot of them are securing government contracts and city contracts, and getting those big airport and highway deals, to do that construction. So the city is going to be growing. Is going to continue to grow, and yeah, either get in the game or get out the way.
Yeah, that's really what's happening there, and luckily, they put a little bit of pressure on companies to come out here and say, look, you got to have some black and brown contractors. This is ridiculous, and so they're trying to put a little pressure on them to come out here and do these things, and hopefully something comes of it.
Yeah, we got to have contractors that's ready.
You got to be ready, and you got to be certified.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times, when you don't get those bigger jobs, that means that you don't your contractor, your company can't grow. You can't get the people you need in to do the bigger jobs. It's kind of a chicken and the egg type of thing. You need a bigger crew to do bigger jobs to get bigger contracts. And a lot of times the certifications cost. I mean, there's a lot to this. So I'm hoping, I'm putting some hope out there that these bigger companies can really help these smaller companies grow, get bigger, and maybe not be a part of, even if they don't get to be a part of this particular build, they maybe future builds can work. So we'll
Mhm.
see. Roscoe Wallace in the chat gives us a good morning. It's a new name.
Hey.
I got another question for you out there in the chat. Did anybody hear about a high speed police chase that
Hmm.
resulted in a bus crash? Somebody well, Miss Erica Felt looks like in Friends of First Sky Omaha reposted something from someone called Creola Woodall, and this is her post: high speed police chase question. Why was there no news coverage about this from any of the networks or newspaper? My brother-in-law, Larry Richard, was seriously hurt while riding on the number 18 Metro bus on Thursday, close to 6 p.m. from a high-speed chase done by the OPD, Omaha Police Department, with a car possibly stolen, losing control, slamming into the bus so hard we were told the impact tore the engine out of the vehicle, knocking
Hmm.
Larry completely off his seat, breaking both his legs. He had multiple broken bones with internal bleeding, putting him in a 5 or 6 hour surgery with more to
Hmm.
come. I visited with him today in the ICU. He remembers riding on the bus, the accident, then waking up in the hospital, and still no one from OPD has been forthcoming with information. Question: what are they trying to hide? We just want answers. So interesting post that I thought it would be a good idea to read here, because we often talk about these things. We talk about whether or not there's news. What gets covered, what doesn't get covered. I mean, we're here to try to cover some things. Here we are talking to people from our neighborhood people that we call chat chimers, posting things from other neighbors, talking about what's going on with their family members and things that are happening that seems like they should be news. That's the question. How is that not on the news? And because it's not, this goes back to the things that we talk about how we get our news these days. We get clips, we hear things, we see things on TikTok, we see posts like this, and then we try to go look around at what we consider our trusted news sources to find out whether or not these things are true, because we kind of depend on them to tell us about really what's going on. But what happens when they don't? What happens when you can't find it in the news? I took a little quick look this morning, couldn't find it myself. So what happens there? So this is the prime example of, like, expanding the news piece here. If we had a news desk, we might send somebody over to her or the brother-in-law, or call the bus company, or find out what's going on here, so that we can get some more facts about these things and actually put an article out. Because when somebody posts something like this, then the next kind of logical thing you do is go to look in the paper or go look on the news and try to find out what's going on. How is it not in the news?
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's got, I don't want to question the sister that's putting this out here, but but why isn't it not in the news? You know, and I'm leaning towards this idea that it's because the news ain't covering everything, can't cover everything. She's alluding in her post that if it's the police chase, why how come we don't have no news about police chases? Uh,
Well, I think the chat might have some answers. I'm kind of looking at as the chat's coming in, and it's pretty along the same lines that I'm thinking. One, I would say that yes, the news doesn't cover everything, and yes, we should definitely be telling our own stories. And you can tell the difference when news is generated for leads and eyeballs and trying to get attention, so you can
mm,
entice advertisers, and you know what I'm saying. And then when you're trying to address and speak to the community like that, you can tell those are two different just the types of stories that come out of that are two different
right.
things. But I would say with this story though, you would think this is something that might be sensationalized. Like, this is a crash, this is something that people will click on, and people love to see calamity and all that type of stuff. Like,
Very
people
true.
would, this would get eyeballs to the platform for advertisers. That
Yep.
is the business of news.
It's very.
But with
Go ahead.
well, just what some of the people are saying as far as pursuits for property crime is not worth the risk. Brother Knight, definitely welcome back, Mr. Stewart. Says because the city doesn't want to be liable for the crash, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, again, in the post it said possible stolen car. I wonder, what is the policy on chases? Because I do know some police departments don't chase for certain reasons.
Very true. Yeah, that was Wayne Hudson that gave that post about pursuits for property crime is not worth the risk. Appreciate you coming in, brother Hudson. Also,
Yeah,
Rose Review says they always say they can't comment due to investigation. Another good thing. Another reason they use sometimes. T. Ren
yeah,
says they protect who they want to protect. That protection is often in the way of obscurity. No articles, no pictures, no mugshots, and if so, way back in the back of the mentions. Right, right.
mm.
And Wayne Hudson says Nebraska is a strict liability state. Okay. Mark Manner says that is something the news would eat up.
Man, front
Maybe
page. You would
maybe it's
think.
just a matter of not having enough personnel, no, not enough reporters out there. That could be
Mm.
too. So yeah, lots going on. Miss Erica says, "Good morning." For decades, there has been laws in cities forbidding high speed chases for for property crimes, stolen cars, etc.
Yep,
So maybe we have that law here, and that would put OPD in the wrong for doing a chase. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot here that we could be speculating on, because nobody's going to get the story. That's kind of
that's the
the
point.
point for me, right?
It's all gonna be
Yeah, I
speculation.
mean, I'm always looking at stuff like this because of the fact that we're in the business here of trying to raise funds and raise teams in order to do stuff like cover the things that are important in our communities, that
Yeah.
don't get front page news and stuff like that elsewhere. And yeah, so and anybody can do that. Anybody can use their right, First Amendment right of free speech to be in the press, be the press, and go and take care. We just had a content creators camp teaching some tenets of
Man.
journalism so that people can go out here and actually get
Mm.
stories. That's the beginning of the training on that because we don't have enough people doing it. So here we are.
Yeah, do that. And now you kind of got my brain going, my journalism brain. Like, who else was on that bus? You
Come
know what I
on,
mean?
man.
And also I do want to acknowledge Sister Terry Crawford's a comment. I do believe she's a lawyer as well. She says he should lawyer up now.
I just hear, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 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 definitely lawyer up. Somebody's liable.
It's that
And
old
those
law firm.
man, and those hospital bills, they coming in one way or another.
Man, T-Ren says news, mayor and cops stay on the same page. You see how they did protesters over the Skurlock murder. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
that we talk about that all the time. That's 2020, and then we call it. Everybody's been calling that Freedom Summer.
Hmm.
And of course, the Skurlock murder was a major part of that. And yes, we paid close attention to the news coverage of that, which kind of made us decide to kind of go in the direction, back in the direction of oh, we gotta get a news desk together and cover some of this stuff. This is also the trigger for the reader doing what the reader did, which was go from a culture newspaper to going to do deep dive stories with Chris Baby Boy Bowling and all them, because
Yeah,
there
man.
was too much that went down that had needed to be talked about. So in 2020, a lot changed with us deciding why aren't we getting the coverage in the news we need, in the stories that we need around here. Like, what is really going on? It's always been a thing, but we got reminded big time during 2020. So it's interesting that you said that. about the protesters, the story about the protesters.
Man.
Also, Wayne Hudson says, let's see. Okay. Oh, brother Knight. Yeah, you already said that one, right? But I believe that they can't chase unless there's a felony in progress or warrant. From
Mm-hmm.
brother Knight, brother Wayne Hudson says, if you don't give people information, they will use their imagination. Man, we're all over the
Big
place with the
time.
imagination on this story, just from hearing that part. Brother Knight says Sergeant didn't call it off like he's supposed to. Yep. Roscoe Wallace in the chat. I appreciate you brothers tackling the issue of the different cliques. I mean, organizations chasing grant money, endorsing each other, yet fail to support or sponsor some organizations and leaders that's having success with our youth, such as the brother Qasim and others. Man, I cannot wait to hear about this conversation that brother Qasim and brother Wells had with brother Barney. That's gonna be like you said,
Man.
that's our headline news right there. Brother Knight says that's why the city has helicopters. True.
Man, and buying more.
Buying more all
Man.
the time. Tony Johnson said activists during Freedom Summer got caught up or went underground after police money settled. Where's their voices now? Hmm.
It is interesting, but after the smoke and the dust settles, it is kind of interesting to look up and look to your left and your right, and you see like a BAA still standing. We still standing. Um, no offense to anybody who's moved to do other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very interesting.
It is also, speaking of very interesting, we got a special guest sitting in the wings who's always an interesting cat.
Hey,
It's about 7:31 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Justin Wayne in the house.
What what's
hey,
going
put some
on?
respect on
Good
his
morning,
name.
bro. How you
Put some
doing?
respect on his name.
Good. It's a little chilly out today.
Yeah, I see. I
What you
see.
doing?
Beat the
What you doing
sun.
outside, man?
Man, I had my tires are bad, so I had to go out to the check my tires and see if I'm calling warranty. I ain't trying to pay for nothing. So I
Man,
had
hey, if you don't got to, if if
Hey,
you hold a couple coins,
if you got that warranty, go ahead and get it. That's for
so I had
sure.
to get out here early. And when you moved up the time, I was like, I guess I'm gonna get out here at 7. And they didn't have no real quiet space on the inside, so I'm just sitting out in the parking lot. So
Oh man.
okay.
literally, things I do for y'all brothers, boy, I tell you.
Man, I appreciate you. Y'all, the crack of dawn. You the brightest thing out there right now. It's the crack of dawn.
Man, I hope you layered up. Hey, we also got a Senator McKinney in the house, and he is joining us. It looks like via phone. Are you there, brother McKinney?
You
Hello, hello.
Okay, maybe not. Still on the road,
on
dropping his daughter off.
dropping his daughter off in the morning.
Yep, yep.
Okay,
You know the
okay.
routine.
We got to
Yeah,
get it in
yeah.
now with our kids because come January we down in Lincoln every morning, so we got to spend as much time as we
Mm,
can from now until January because January we down there at 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night. Takes
Ooh,
a toll on our relationship with our kids, so we got to do it now.
man.
yeah.
Man, we don't never really talk about that. I mean, we talk about the lack of pay and the $12,000 you're making every year, but yeah, we don't really talk about the time spent away from family and the toll that might take on just personal life. That's definitely I'm all for it, man. Get the daddy duty in while you can, which is why we appreciate you, gentlemen. For taking the time and meeting with us every week. Yeah, we don't take that lightly. Don't take that lightly. So thank
Well, I just
And
want to give an update though before we start. I did email all
you.
the black elected officials 2 weeks ago. I said I would do that, um, and I heard back from a few. I'll leave it at that. Bree Fuller put together a little calendar on the doodle, trying to get everybody to Bree Fuller. I said Fuller, full to put everybody on the same calendar, and um, let's just say now all the folks are responding, and there's some
Okay.
key folks that aren't responding either.
Hmm.
okay, so maybe we better do something about possibly helping with some of that reach out.
Yeah, double
I'm
down.
gonna give them 1 more week, and then next week I'll just name names who ain't responded. That's how. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all asked for it. The community seemed to ask for it. I put the email out, and the first email I didn't have everybody on because I didn't know some of the emails, like Sheldon at the learning community, but she already responded.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay. Appreciate you doing the work on that for sure. And like I said, anything we can do to help, we would love that. We got Tony Johnson in the chat has been talking to us about doing some roundtables, and we definitely have some of those plans coming up as soon as we can kind of get the resources together on that. But yeah, we it might be something we have to do on a regular basis too, because it seems like there's a lot of different conversations that aren't happening that we need to make happen, and at least help make happen. So appreciate your work on that, and we're definitely down to on that tip to do that. So
Also, it comes to mind, even if we don't get everybody to respond, at the very least, it would be nice to know some of those and yeah, put at least put a list together. Not in the spirit of calling people out, but I think it should be listed somewhere where all the African American quote unquote elected officials are. I think we should. It makes sense to have that listed so people can know who that body of representation
yeah,
is.
that's a great idea. Great
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, thanks for the
in
update.
other news, anything else going on that we need to update on? Have you
I I think I figured out what I'm gonna do after I leave the Senate. I'm going to referee basketball.
hey,
Uh,
Okay.
I've been refing for the last 3 weekends. I've done probably over 35, 40 games, and it just re-emphasizes. I think in those 35, 40 games, I've probably seen two teams that we would consider North Omaha or North Omaha representative. Now there
Mm.
are some people who, like I know people who are playing in some other teams who have the means to put those dollars together to play on some other organizations, but it just in fact I had some black elected officials come out yesterday and just go out to UBT, which is on 204th and Dodge, and just look. You got West Side, you got Papillion, you got Bennington Badgers, you got Millard North, you got Millard South. I think I refed Bellevue T-Birds. I pretty much refed every high school around the metro except for OPS kids.
Mm.
wow,
That's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
you found your passion again, huh?
Man.
Uh,
I mean, what happened to like the Unity All Stars and those
So
teams? They still
Unity,
around?
yeah, Unity merged with Team Express, and they're one of the teams that I saw out there.
Okay.
I think they call United Express now.
Okay.
So that's Alvin Mitchell doing his thing over there. But and
Man,
then
shout out to Coach Mitchell.
there was Girls Inc. had a team. And that's just a parent who put some stuff together. So, but other than that, man, it's just I think about the violence and I think about what's going on in our community, and
Mm-hmm.
these kids out here playing 3 to 4 games a weekend, and they tired when they get home. They ain't about to go out and go to no kickback or do whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so it just reminded me of that when I was this weekend when I was reffing again.
That's
Man, even when there is violence and things in the community and characters doing unsavory things to say the least, you still hear those stories of like star players like, man, I try to get involved with that stuff, but there's people in the community it's like, no, no, play basketball. And I think I would love to see, individuals like yourself or just more people like I asked, what is going on with the Unity All Stars? Having those kind of opportunity again, we definitely need more than athletes and entertainers, but it's an opportunity. There should at least be an opportunity in our community for young people to go through, sports and hopefully become professional athletes and come back and invest in the community.
I
I
mean,
mean that goes right back to the economic base.
it's about teamwork. It's about discipline. It's a lot of carryover things into other things, but
Mm-hmm.
but at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, when I was growing up, we had Kellum League, right? And so on Saturday,
Right.
we all went down to Kellum. That was kind of like the no shoot zone, no fight zone, no
Yep.
problems, right next to the projects. And people spent all Saturday down there. And we had teams traveling from Kansas City to come up here and play. And now we just don't got that level of interest. I don't think we have. I think the interest is there. We don't have that level of organization, and so we got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to do that. And I think it goes to everything, whether it's music, whether it's sports, chess club, book club. Like we got to figure out how to put those resources into the community at the ground level, and quit blaming the schools and quit trying to figure out this and figure out that. I mean, there are some systematic problems. Like in OPS,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to any school you want to. So, pretty much any school you want to. So why is it that a coach is going to spend time working with these kids and putting them in the Husky Northwest Husky feeder program, and in the 8th grade they go to Westside, right? Like so. We got to figure out that piece. Whereas Millard, you kind of you landlocked as far as what school you're going to, unless it's a special circumstance where you would go outside of your attendance zone. So there's some things structurally we need to look at. But really what it comes down to is we just don't have those resources right now.
Yeah, now what I find too is that these kids are they I just over visiting with my nephew last night. He's so into the video game culture and the things that he's doing. The kids still get into all these things, man, sports and everything. Oh, we lost him. Senator McKinney. I was going to check in to see if Senator McKinney, you there yet? Are you still trying to get on? Okay, we don't have Senator McKinney quite yet.
No, I'm back. Sorry, I switched hands because my hand was getting cold and I hit the wrong button.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, finger the button. Uh,
yeah, we appreciate you.
I was just saying that I do notice that kids. If you give kids something to get into, they get into it. If that
Mhm.
structure's there, like you're saying, they absolutely do. There's still a lot of interest in all those things,
Yep.
sports, video games, everything. If there's infrastructure out there, then they're going to get into it in a big way. And another thing I was going to say is that's one thing the hood is good for, man, is when they see a young person that got some talent somewhere. They always, man, now stay out of this mess, man. We want you to go play ball. We want you to go this.
Hmm.
Hood has always been good on encouraging young folks to go after something else if they have a talent and opportunity. So I
I
definitely
mean,
think.
I mean, even like you said, video games, man. How many people we know these kids grow up playing video games? There's like real dollars and real scholarships in this.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it's just, this week, last weekend, we had Alabama and Wake Forest. We got two kids starting, one starting for Alabama, Ricel, and then Salas starting for Wake Forest.
Mhm.
And that ain't on the Omaha Road Hero. That ain't. But
Right,
Man.
if these two brothers would have been shooting on 30th and Ames, their mugshot would have been on everything, right? Like
man.
Yep.
we got to
Yep.
change the conversation.
So true, so true. In the chat, real quick, Miss Erica Fell says sometimes sports isn't about going professional, but it's about community, a safe space, learning skills that you can parlay into a business to any business.
Yep.
Also, Marlon Harrison, that we know is in education too. He says, "I know money plays a huge factor. Some organizations cost $200 to $500. Yeah, so if there's can be, we can figure something out to make it easier, a little easier barrier of entry there. That might help too." Tony Johnson
Hmm.
says, "Resources being people leaving area at high rate, no succession in Black Omaha. Is that some of the reasons why some of the sports programs have gone away? I don't know too much about it.
I think part of it is economics. Like, so I played for Kappa growing up. We had volunteer coaches, and now
Hmm.
these coaches, they need a stipend. They paying, taking kids out to eat and doing a lot more, right? So that's part of it is economics. But the other part is we just don't have a structure. Like, we just don't. The city of Omaha ran the Kellum League. They're not running that anymore. And so
Man.
when I retire, I feel like there's three things that I'm trying to figure out. Three questions I want to solve. And those three questions are: if you want to start a music group, or you want to play music, where do you go? What crowd can we plug you into?
Mm,
If you want to do athletics, where do you go? What crowd can we plug you into? And if you want to do gaming, what crowd do we plug you into, and where do you go?
Hmm.
Like, I think
Hmm.
those are three key areas that we can engage our youth and change lives forever.
Man, and especially minority groups, as far as gaming goes, and really even sports, HBCUs. Again, I got my FAMU hat on. It's HBCU homecoming season, and a lot of a big wave that I'm seeing at HBCUs is gaming. They're trying to attract and entice and give contracts available for and competing in the space of gaming for minority, black and brown, quote unquote, students, and then also sporting, with Coach Prime and the wave and attention that he brought to HBCUs. There is now more opportunities for you know African Americans and black and brown students to go to schools that they might not have been interested in going to, and these are schools that are more economically available, a lot of cheaper schools. There are more opportunities. So, yeah, there definitely is the opportunity and the time for that kind of pipeline.
yeah. Before we jump into the next subject here, Rome's review says that almost zero barriers to entry for skateboarding and frisbee golf. Heard that.
Man,
Also,
man,
Amy
Hey,
got, yo,
quiet as kept, man. My district got one of the best frisbee golf courses up at Humboldt Park, man. I
what?
mean, hey,
okay,
oh man, Humboldt Park got a great frisbee golf course.
okay. I think that was you that mentioned something about Fontenelle turning into a frisbee golf course park.
Back in the day, they were looking at, yeah, they were looking at that. I mean, just like those kinds of, we got some untapped assets that we just got to figure out how to go get them. And
Yeah.
that's
I want to
and
know.
the one thing I learned on the legislature, and this is no disrespect to all the people out there. Well, maybe it is disrespect. At this point, I'm outside in the cold, so I'm gonna say what I want to say. I had nobody to pass the ball to. Like we can
Mm-hmm.
come up with ideas, but at the end of the day, we don't have groups and backbone organizations to pass the ball to. Like the reason why South Omaha right now is going to be able to go after these dollars is because they got Canopy South, and whether we like it or not, they put on the front at least that they trust each other and they're going to move the ball forward. And we just don't have that in our community. Historically, we haven't had that in our community where we can say we want to start businesses on 24th Street. Who we give the money to? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do we set up that structure? And that's one of the things I promised McKinney that, after he's reelected, that we're gonna have an organization for you to pass the ball to, because you don't have to go through these headaches that we've been going through.
There you go.
And when you say pass the ball, you're saying somebody outside of the legislature, outside of the government, in the community. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right, because we get made up. We get these made up conflicts and all this other stuff about you can't do this and you can't. But we got to have a real organization that can, or a couple organizations in different areas that can just do it, and that you can pass the ball to. So if you want to have a internship program, who we passing the ball to on internships. If you want to have a multimedia, and just something we talked about just in our conversations is how do we bring Black media together so we can pass the ball to that? Like we just got to be able to pass the
Mm-hmm.
ball instead of having all these fragmented areas.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like we got Senator McKinney back. Are you back, brother McKinney?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes.
now.
Yes. Loud and
Yeah.
clear.
All right,
Welcome, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just on my way back home. I'm straight.
Okay, okay. You're doing daddy
Daddy
duties.
duty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, hey, we were just talking about who to pass the ball to, and I'm seeing brother Qasim in the chat. He said, "I built a league from scratch. League stronger today than it was than it were 5 years ago. Many of these same children I'm now teaching survivor skills, etc. Again, I'll say we did it without any other resource than one another. Utilized money we generated and purchased land. Hard work and creativity is what it comes down to."
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of being able to have organizations and things that are going on to help enhance. I do like his point though. It really kind of takes what you were talking about this morning, brother Wayne. Just the desire to see the value in that, and and go ahead and go out and make it happen. So yeah. What say you, brother Senator McKinney, on these issues? If you were able to hear that, what we were talking about before, brother McKinney, you there?
Yeah, you kind of breaking up. What was the last thing you said?
I was just asking you about what your thoughts were on what brother Senator Wayne is talking about here about being able to pass the ball to some organizations. If you're a kid that's into gaming, if you're a kid that's into sports, where can you go? Where can we send you? If you're into music, and how to pass that ball, how to create the thing and create the organizations in places where we can pass that ball to. What's your thoughts on the infrastructure here? What it will
I
take?
mean, I think that's very important, you know, because a lot of kids, got different interests. And the one thing we always talk about is just having those opportunities available, because it sucks sometimes for a kid to be interested in something, but you don't know where to turn them to. And then you kind
Mm-hmm.
of lose them because you're like, man, I don't know. I don't know who to call. Or if you turn them to an opportunity, or it's a financial barrier, and how do you get around that? That's that's would be the hard part. But one thing that is important to think about is a lot of the coaches are kind of like wanting to get out of it. They kind of get up there in age, and they need younger people to step up and start taking on those roles as well. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
two-sided, where you got to make sure those opportunities are there, and you know we make sure we lower the barriers, but we also need more younger coaches to start stepping up and taking on those roles, because a lot of the older coaches are kind of at that age where it's like, hey, I'm ready to sit down. I can't be coaching all weekend or picking kids up like I used to anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah. Succession planning.
definitely succession planning. Appreciate your thoughts on that. Speaking of kids and education, we in about 10 minutes we're going to have Dr. Umar Johnson on. One of the major things that we want to really talk about is what it is that he put in place for the school that he's either building or built. Not sure if it's done yet. We're going to find out when we talk to him. But you know, when we talk about the bills that you guys voted on here recently, that's in this whole space of this controversial save our schools and all that big mess. Uh,
School
the
choice.
school choice issue, and you guys lean towards saying we want to be able to have some different options here for our kids, when especially the ones that it's not working in OPS, they want to have different options. We said, okay, so this is about being able to create private schools in other places that you know, if we had some a little bit of help to be able to create some private schools in some places, then that might be something that is a beneficial thing for us. But we also talked about like how hard it is to be able to start a school, and and who's taking advantage of starting private schools right now. Whereas, you know, what is it that we need here to be able to do that for ourselves here? So just to bring that subject back around, because this is something that we want to talk to Dr. Johnson about, Dr. Umar Johnson, when he comes on, about the difficulty in creating a private school, all the things that come behind that. If we wanted to have a black school in Omaha, what would we need to do? What are your continued thoughts on that subject? You guys made your statements about it, and is there anything behind the scenes that we don't know about schools that might pop up, that you know, that we have an opportunity to build some black schools here or some other private schools here? Is there something that's coming from this?
There have been a lot of conversations that I've been involved in. I don't think they're ready to be public around. Is that my? Is that me? No, that's not me. Uh, that really want to try to figure out how to uh, create this North Omaha, South Omaha type school. And the crazy thing, it isn't just black or brown.
Hmm.
There are a group of parents who are trying to figure out how to do special education, dyslexia.
Hmm.
Uh, and so, you know,
Yeah.
I'm at a point right now where I don't really know the answer. It's so big and so broad that you got to, you know, like I say, eat an elephant one bite at a time. And
Hmm.
so this is just one solution for maybe a couple parents, few parents, a lot of parents. I don't have that answer, but I know right now what we're doing isn't working. So if we can create an infrastructure and create the supply side by saying there are a lot of people who want to do something different, and now there's some dollars tied to it, I think you can create the infrastructure, whether it's Malcolm X, whether it's another organization, 100 Black Men. I mean, whoever. Now you have an infrastructure and some dollars to make this sustainable and actually do it. But you got to be mindful. Like it's running a school is not easy, and
Hmm.
figuring out how to do the curriculum and make sure everything that's not easy. But at least this gives you an opportunity to have that conversation without killing it before it starts.
Seems
Right.
like coming up
Well,
with the money for it is the least easy part.
definitely.
Yeah,
Senator McKinney, you got something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I would agree. I mean, anything is gonna be hard, especially when it comes to trying to better black people or better the education of our black kids. It's never been easy. You know, just because nothing is in place doesn't mean we shouldn't try, and just because it's hard
Hmm.
doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
Hmm.
I've talked to a couple people as well that are kind of working on trying to put together a school, and it's individuals that worked in OPS as principals. So I think something is gonna happen. It definitely won't be overnight, but I
Right.
think it's something that's going to happen and should be explored. And I mean, you know, why not? Honestly, I mean, the current state of education isn't the greatest, and I try to tell people I'm not pro private schools, I'm not pro public schools, I'm pro trying to make sure that no more black kids are being undereducated and falling through the cracks, and that's the number one
Hmm.
thing for me. It's not about who's better or who's good. It's just trying to make sure our kids are set up the best, and whatever works for a kid in public school, great. Like, let's support that kid in public school. But if that kid can be better suited in private school, let's support that kid in private school. Like, I at the end of the day, it's trying to make sure the kids are okay. I hate the polarization and the politics of it, because then we overlook the fact that the numbers are still the numbers, and our kids are being failed, and we could argue about tax dollars all we want, but with the tax dollars not going to these scholarships, our kids are still being left behind. So it don't make sense to me. So it is what it is. I just think we should be thinking about the kids first,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mm-hmm. And kind of on that topic, I am wondering because we do know it does look like now that that whole school choice bill will be going to the ballot. People will be voting on it. From a legislative standpoint, is there any discussion or like any thought of okay, what's next? Even if the bill does survive, will there be legislation to kind of clear up that pathway to starting and opening the school and what those requirements, what that actually looks like, or if that bill is taken away, what's next?
So to me, this is the politics of our kids, and this is why I get frustrated. And I got some
Hmm.
really good friends on the other side who we really haven't talked because I think it's putting politics before people. And
Hmm.
here's what I mean by that: we could actually pass a bill with a different name that does the exact same thing that won't be on the ballot next year. So all of us on the ballot is repeal LB 775 or 753, repeal
Hmm.
753. So we could do the exact same bill next year, and it'll be bill 1,400, and it doesn't change anything. The law is still the law. This is all the gamesmanship. Like if they really wanted to repeal it, they would have waited till next session, try to fight it in session, and then put it on the ballot then.
Mm.
Otherwise, they got to do the exact same thing again. The status quo is going to get richer for raising more dollars and running another petition. So now they have to try to repeal two bills. This is all politics. At the end of the day, it's all
Mm.
politics. And we got a school board who says that they're already fully funded, that they don't need no more money. So this is just gamesmanship, and who hurts is our kids.
Mm.
Yep, and it all it comes back down to whatever's going on. Like you said, politics, no politics, tax dollars, no tax dollars. We absolutely have to figure out what we're going to do about the education piece. Whether
Yeah.
that's and do it all at the same time. Try to help OPS do what it needs to do. Maybe even create new schools on top of that.
Hmm.
And let me say this: I went to Senator McKinney and I went to the mayor's town hall in North Omaha, and give her credit whether we agree with her or not, but they were short, I think, 95 or 98 officers, and they consider that a crisis. They threw the book at them, gave them the largest raise they ever gave to police officers, and said we gotta fill these positions. Now, how you feel about the police, I'm not getting into it. What I'm saying is she saw a personnel problem and said we're gonna give them the largest raises and we're gonna unprecedented raises. Now you
Mm.
turn to OPS, we don't have special education teachers, we short 1,000 people, and they give in the standard 10% or 3% or 5%. Like if it's a crisis, then let's do some extraordinary things and throw dollars at the crisis to make sure we got people there. If you can't fill 5 schools or 3 schools in North Omaha,
Yeah.
then make sure you
Actually, we
go hire them.
actually have.
Right.
Yeah. Well, fellas,
Yep.
we're gonna have to go ahead and
Yep.
cut it short here, man. We got a couple of special guests waiting in the wings. But in 30 seconds, any particular questions you want me to ask Dr. Umar for you on your behalf? Anybody? We got it covered.
Yeah, y'all got it covered. I'll be listening.
Okay, man. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate you
Uh,
both for coming on, Senator Wayne, Senator McKinney. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
All right, have a
Peace.
good one.
Peace.
All right, we appreciate those brothers coming on. In order to coming on a little early, in order to get some of those updates in there before we have our special guests in the house coming through.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to bring on our special guests. For those of you who don't know what's happening today, it's a special day. We have Dr. Umar Johnson in the house coming on through. Good morning, Brother Johnson. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. Glad to be with you. Just to clarify, it's Ifatunde. I don't use Johnson anymore. Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Respect.
Umar
Respect.
Ifantude. Thank you very
Dr.
much. I
Umar
appreciate
is
that.
fine. No,
I appreciate that. I appreciate
no
the
problem.
correction there. Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, fellas.
I know that
Man.
you're a busy man, and so I very much appreciate you getting up this morning, coming through. And you too, brother Qasim, how you doing?
Man, Got my nosy daughter back here, man.
That's right. Let her be nosy.
She wanted to see Dr. Umar, so I said, okay. There you
That's
go.
what's up.
Hey, we all for daddy duty, man. We support it. We support it. So yeah.
Just
Love the children.
good thing for her to be nosy about. That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
Well, right on. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't know in our chat who Dr. Umar is, I'm gonna go ahead and let brother give his own introduction, if you don't mind. Let us know who you are and what you're about.
Dr. Umar Tunde is a doctor of clinical psychology, a certified school psychologist. I am a Pan-Africanist, a founder of the National Independent Black Parents Association to organize Black parents to fight against racism in the 7 key areas of discipline, school policy, finance, special ed, parent advocacy, social support, and homeschooling. Author of the 2 books, Psychoacademic Holocaust, the Special Education and ADHD Wars Against Black Boys, as well as Black Parent Advocate, The Art of War for Dealing with America's Public and Charter Schools. And right now, we're just 2 inspections away from completing the renovation on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, which will be the first school in American history built exclusively with donations from the entire African diaspora to operate from the very beginning in an authentic school building, not a house, not a basement, not a church, not a storefront, but to operate in the school. We'll be the first to do it in the history of this country.
Man,
Wow.
Yeah. And first of all, I'm actually down here in Atlanta, and I saw you speak earlier this year at the Garvey event.
Yes.
And I was definitely happy to hear that news that you broke at that event. And let's just kind of start there. Just as just in general, we talk about this a lot here on our show. It's a big topic here in Omaha, Nebraska, as far as education, what's going on specifically in our communities with education. What is your thoughts just right now nationally as far as where we stand in education?
Well, right from the beginning, whenever we discuss any problem that affects African people, particularly here in the American context, we have to put it in its proper historical place.
Mm-hmm.
So the precursor to my comments about the psychoacademic Holocaust against Black children, i.e. the miseducation machine, the precursor to that is that Black people are very docile in the face of white oppression. So that's the context. The Black community, Black parents, Black church, Black politicians, Black activists, Black business owners, we are very docile in the face of white oppression. So how does that translate to the miseducation machine? Very simply, whatever they want to do with our children, we're more than willing to let them do that. So for example, I'm a certified school psychologist. So my job is to evaluate children with disabilities, right? So in order to go into special education, you have to have a disability, no special ed. In order to be legally and effectively, you have to be evaluated. You have to be evaluated. And so that's where this comes in. That is to say, although we have a special ed crisis, using girls being put in classes for the educably mentally retarded, classes for the reading disabled, the math disabled, classes for ADHD, so forth and so on, crisis. It could not happen without the complicity of Black parents. You have to sign special ed. You have to give permission for the evaluation. So the point that I'm trying to make is how racism is undermining the future destinies of Black children. We have that they could not do it without parent participation.
Brother Umar, I'm gonna interrupt you there real quick. You're breaking up a little bit just because of the internet situation there. We want to make sure that we get everything that you are saying. My suggestion is if you have any, are you on your phone right now or are you on the laptop?
Wi-Fi. Now I just tapped the phone by accident, so it shook a little bit. That might have been it while I'm fully functional here.
Okay, it's a little bit of lag just because the internet there. So we'll just do the best we can on that. But I think your point's coming across. If you have any other apps or anything open on your phone there, if you close them, that might help a little bit on the internet side or the Wi-Fi side.
Okay, now
but we just want
nothing else open. This is my FDMG phone that I'm on, so I don't do anything on this. But let's see what happens in the next couple minutes. But I normally have no issue on this phone. from the Wi-Fi. So
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll straighten up in the next couple minutes. Just let me know if it might have to go to another phone.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. Sounds good. So yeah, just to go back to what you're talking about. I'm sorry, buddy. Did you?
Yeah, I had a follow up
Yeah,
question.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
And this is actually, we have a chat that's watching live, and we invited them to ask some questions, and one person specifically asked something that deals with this, as far as how does this designation that you're talking about, the ADHD, the special needs, all these designations, how does this play into the preschool to prison pipeline, because you're talking about, again, the impact that this has on our children's future?
It is the main port line. Let's be very clear about something. Special education is the biggest prison pipeline. You don't get a school to prison pipeline without Black boys being put in especially unnecessarily and illegally. And once again, I'm gonna go back to the Black kid on this work for over 20 years, and I think I made a lot of inroads helping parents understand how to educate for their children away from special ed and ADHD and psychiatric meds. That a lot of our parents are signing our boys up for special ed, not only, but they're doing it very young in life. They're doing it in kindergarten. Why would you, 5 and 6 years old, being tested for special ed, 6 and 7 years old, being disabled? So again, it goes back to the Black community. Stop signing paper your kids up for special education. If you don't understand what's going on, that's why you have numbers public. It's been public for 18 years. So it's no excuse for any parent in America involving their children in public school or the mental health system and not know how to deal with it, because they know, believe it or not, and this is very unfortunate, there's a lot of parents who don't understand and protect their children. How is it you've been following my work and you don't, and when the heart and soul of my work is protecting our sons and daughters? So that means you're all caught in the YouTube videos, but you're not paying attention to the lessons that I'm giving out. I'm very specific. There's no way you can listen to me and not know how to protect your children. Parents are not focused and they don't prioritize our children, and they got better things to do than make example. I regularly come across parents who didn't find out their children can't read until they're about. How is that possible that you didn't know your child couldn't read until the 12th grade on your job at all? So once again, we got to talk about the system, because the system deliberately entraps our children, and what they do is they miseducate the boys, special educate them. Now, legally in America, you cannot put a kid in special ed if you are underdeveloped, is due to poor instruction. Let me say that one more time. You cannot, if you know the primary reason for this struggle is due to poor practice. That is the law. But guess what? Let me go. I could go through Omaha, Black boys in special ed who ain't been taught. If they haven't been taught, so what are they doing with an IEP if they never been taught? It's because their parents signed them up.
Let me interrupt you real quick. I'm sorry, man. We are having a little bit of difficulty. I'm gonna suggest, can you just go out and restart?
You know what? Let me do this. What if we call and not use the Wi-Fi? Well, you know what? Let me just turn the Wi. Well, you know what? I can just use my T-Mobile, but I don't get good reception when I'm not on my Wi-Fi. I could just call into.
Actually, no, we don't have it set up to do a call in.
Understood.
But I tell you what,
you know what I'm gonna do? Let me log my other phone if you want, unless you got another solution.
That's what I was gonna suggest. If you just logged out and then logged back in on this phone, that might work. But if you got another phone, that might work as well.
Let me do that right back in.
Okay.
I
appreciate it.
And while we do that, let's address a little bit of why we have Dr. Umar on. Again, thank you, Brother Qasim, for setting this up. We appreciate you. and acknowledge, the 4-year anniversary again that Brother Umar will be speaking at and being a part of. Can you kind of speak to what are your plans for the 4-year anniversary? What's coming up? And yeah, just give us an update.
So, man, I appreciate you brothers having me on today. And I appreciate you for all your efforts. I look at this as being the strongest platform in North Omaha,
Man, thank you.
hands down,
Thank you.
So we need to bring light to that. As far
Man.
as the fourth year anniversary, man, it's been trial and error. We've come very far. We still have a very far to go. We'll be giving out awards, recognition awards to certain individuals in the community. And we want to celebrate us. You have Kwanzaa that takes place in December, and we want to bring that in with this as a jump off, in collective with coming into the new year, getting ready for political and all this whole type of stuff that we've been trapped out of and ignored for so long. Is the strategy here. So right now with the Black Agenda Alliance bringing Dr. Umar in, because that's who we're aligned with in regard to our ideas and our understanding and our way out. He's the best person fit for what we want to put out. And that I know of, I'm very proud of him and his work, So tickets, $40. We have the physical tickets here tomorrow. And we've been selling them really good. And shoot, man, we want to celebrate us, and bringing Dr. Umar in is the ticket, man. He's phenomenal, and we stand on the same ideas and practices that he do when it comes to getting our people up out of this. And the work speaks for itself. You brothers know what time it is.
For sure. Definitely see the work. And again, I will say, just to kind of help big it up, man, y'all definitely, grab those tickets. Definitely check it out. As I said, I saw Brother Umar, Dr. Umar, put some respect on his name, speak at the Garveyite celebration down here in Atlanta. And yes, you want to see this brother speak in person. Get your energy up, raise your vibrations.
Yeah, everybody I talked to was like, man, let me get my ticket now. Your ticket's
Yeah,
going
man.
fast on it, so definitely get it. Dr. Umar, are you back?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Okay.
coming in loud and clear.
Yeah.
But
Sounding good.
before we jump back into it, man, we failed in our excitement of you coming on. We failed to do what we normally do, which is first of all ask you, how are you doing as a human being beyond beyond everything that's going on? Just you, particularly you and your family. How are things for you personally?
Oh, I'm well. All is well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And also, just to let you know, we are just a couple of musicians, man, that decided that there were some things that needed to be talked about in our community.
Yeah.
We needed to kind of put the art down for a second and talk about some of these crucial things that are happening. And so we built this thing where we are just trying to get some answers and get some news and tell some stories and some things that are happening in our neighborhoods. We developed this chat called the chat. We call them the chat chimers. And I feel like we got the best chat in the world. These
Man.
people are not coming in trolling. These people are coming in with great questions. These people are coming in with great information, and they're here to learn. We have a very diverse group of people in the chat that are taking all these things in. And and I know that's not a normal thing on most of these kinds of shows. So I just wanted to inform you that we have that pretty well informed chat that ask good questions and make good comments and help us do research and all kinds of good things. So anybody that's here because they want to hear from you, and we really appreciate you coming. Like I said, we in our excitement, we didn't even do our format. In our excitement of having you on, I just wanted to lay that out for you so you know what you're walking into. But
No problem. No problem.
love for you to jump back into the things that you were talking about. We know that we have a problem here in Nebraska with the services that are given to kids are only given after you are in the system, after you've
Man.
gotten in trouble. There's a lack of resources and services here, especially we just did a report on the fact that we are missing mental health teachers in our school system here. A lot of people have moved to other places, and now we have a lack. They're scrambling to try to find some help for these kids. And one of the other issues that we have here is a fight. There's a fight going on between school with the school vouchers. They're trying to say that a lot of people are trying to say save our schools. They're trying to say there's a thing that people went around signing that didn't want tax credits to go to certain entities like private schools and so on and so forth. They said that would take away from our public school system. So a lot of us think that it's necessary for us to have abilities to build new schools and do new things, but we also recognize how hard that is to do. So another reason why we would definitely wanted to have you on was to talk about your school and what it's taking to build that, man, and you know, and how can we follow that example and build it here and listen to somebody who's going through it to find out exactly how hard it actually is and what needs to happen. So could you tell us a little bit more about your school?
Certainly. Before I do, though, I want to
Yes,
say this. I pulled up an article here, and it's talking about special education in Nebraska.
Right.
It says that during the 2021 to 22 school year, which is, 2 school years ago, that there were about 30 complaints to the State Department of Education in Nebraska about children who are not receiving quality special ed services. Now, the child that this article is based on is a white child. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I find in my work that most of the time when, parents are challenging the miseducation of their children, especially in special ed, is normally the white parents. Black parents, once again, coming out of slavery with that psychology of docility, we are more willing to let the schools do whatever they want with our children. We tend not to fight. And any parent listening who is a fighter and is a parent of a black child, when they fight, they have to take on the entire school district, it sounds like, or feels like, because of all the black parents who don't fight. So schools are not used to black parents knowing their rights, knowing the law, and fighting for their children. And so whenever a black parent decides to step up in Omaha and say, I'm going to fight for my child and make y'all do right by my child, they receive so much pushback from the system because the system is so used to black parents doing whatever it is they want them to do. Now, with that being said, to your question, building institutions is not the difficult part. The difficult part could be the lack of support, or it could be the lack of support could be one. And then the other is trying to get black people to take the initiative seriously enough. Once again, it's not a coincidence that we are a people that don't have many relevant institutions in our community. There's nowhere in America you can go, nowhere, not a single place, not even to a bougie black suburb where we own the hospital, the school, the supermarket, and the bank. The bank to invest in the people, supermarket to feed the people, hospital to save the people, and school to teach the people. And of course, I would add manufacturing to employ the people and distribution to provide the people with the needs, the goods and services that we need to survive. You don't find them nowhere in Black America, although we are at our richest that we've ever been in American history. We've never been a $2 trillion people. We are a $2 trillion people, and we have almost nothing to show for it when it comes to relevant institutions. I'm not talking about restaurants. I'm not talking about beauty salons. I'm not talking about sneaker shops. I'm not talking about music stores. I'm talking about relevant institutions. Those institutions are important as well, don't get me wrong, but they're not relevant. Nobody's going to die if they don't get their hair done. Nobody's going to die if they don't eat at a restaurant. You see, nobody's going to die if they don't get their hair cut at the barbershop. So yes, they are important, but they're not critical. I'm talking about the critical institutions. We don't have them because, once again, coming out of a legacy of slavery and the psychological conditioning that comes along with that, Black people don't have a desire to control their reality. We don't have a desire to control our reality. Every riot and rebellion that we have had since Trayvon Martin all the way up to the present day, those rebellions did not grow out of a desire to be self-determined. Those rebellions didn't come because Black people wanted the freedom to chart their own destiny. That's not why we rebelled. We rebelled because we didn't like the way white people were treating us. We were not rebelling for the freedom to do what we needed to do. We were rebelling because we didn't like the way we were treated. Black people are the only oppressed people in history who never fought for their liberation from their oppressor. Let me say that again. We're the only oppressed group in history who never fought for their liberation from their oppressor. That's number one. Number two, because of slavery, Black people's primary agenda item is to be accepted and included by white people. It is not to become a free and independent people. And because of that, We have no interest in building our own institutions. The toughest part of building FDMG was not the donation. Shout out to all my donors from across the world. As I said, we'll be the first school built exclusively off of donations from the entire African diaspora. Every continent donated to FDMG. So the issue wasn't the donations. The biggest issue I had, the two biggest issues with FDMG, and they are ongoing. Number one was getting Black contractors we could trust and depend on. We were scammed heavily by Black contractors multiple times. You know, I learned, you know, being a psychologist, I study human behavior, and I really learned more than I ever thought I knew about how deep the conditioning is, the post-traumatic slavery disease. I had to finally turn to white people to get the work done, because Black folks, our brothers, they were horrible. They raped us off. They robbed us. They stole out the school. They didn't complete their work. Not a single Black contractor fulfilled their obligation to us. Not one of them in 4 years. So that was a big issue. And the other big issue would be the YouTubian struggle streamers, jealous, envious, psychologically underdeveloped degenerates who go out of their way to sabotage our work. So they've called the Attorney General, they've called the FBI, the CIA, they've called the mayor's office of Philadelphia and Wilmington. They tried to sabotage our cleanup day. They tried to sabotage our paint day. They tried to get our FDMG Festival 2021 shut down. I'm talking about regular nobody Negroes with a YouTube page were going out of their way to make calls and emails, going so much as to lie. We had one Negro who was calling up the utility companies, misrepresenting himself as me, trying to get our utilities turned off. This is how trifling and how self-hating Black people have become. When someone is doing something constructive for the community, rather than leaving them to fulfill their God-given mission, we want to sabotage them because it wasn't us who God gave the mission to.
And I can say we've been seeing similar energy in our community with the hundreds of millions that, again, we have fellow senators. We were just talking to him before you came on, passed a bill and got hundreds of millions to come into the community. And we've been seeing a lot of backbiting, sabotage, backdoor deals, you know, people undercutting, going to the governor. Been hearing a lot of that. So that's very interesting to see. So I guess let me follow up with this as far as, because we actually had this question, had kind of a similar conversation on Friday here on the show as far as what's going on. What's really you know in front of us? What are we really up against? And what I'm hearing is you're saying we have everything we need. The biggest hurdle is us. And
Absolutely. The one
change the
resource
mental
we
state.
lack are the human resources. We got the financial resources, the intellectual resources. We got all that. We got all the PhDs and JDs and PsyDs and MDs that we need. The problem is we don't have the psychological resources necessary to get this done. We don't have the unity. We don't have the solidarity. We don't have the shared vision of a purpose. You see, we don't have the commitment. We don't have the consistency. The things that are necessary to create a self-sustaining community psychologically, we don't have them. We still spending let's take the Black women, $30 billion on hair and beauty. Black women spend more money on hair and beauty than the women of every other group put together in this country. More than all of them. But we got sex trafficking problems. We got Black girls being miseducated. We got homeless Black women with their children. How do you continue to spend $30 billion on weaves and perms when Black women are not being properly cared for? Because you don't care about nobody but yourself. Let's go to Black men. $2 billion on Air Jordan, $4 billion on liquor, untold billions on cars and clothing. Check this out. Did you know that most millionaires in America drive Hondas and Toyotas? I just read this in an economic research report. Most millionaires in America drive Hondas and Toyotas. But most Black people, when they are able, they would rather drive a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. And check this out. Black people own more BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes than white people per capita, even though white people have 4 times the wealth that we have. Let me say that one more time. We drive twice as many Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs as white people, although we only have 25% of the wealth of white people. So what you see going on in Black America is this thing of keeping up with the Joneses. It's this thing of trying to look more than what you are. It's this thing of surrounding yourself with the symbols of luxury and success, even though your community is going to hell. You see this on display every day in the hip hop community, particularly the gangster rap community, where all they do is sit around bragging about their cars, their clothes, their jewelry, their boats, their airplanes, but every one of them come from a ghetto for which they haven't built a single relevant institution. Look at our billionaires. You got Jay-Z, Puffy, Rihanna, and I met Rihanna's father when I was in Barbados a couple months ago. You got Tyler Perry, you got Bob Johnson, you got Kanye. You got about a dozen legitimate black billionaires in America.
We just read Magic Johnson just became a billionaire.
Magic Johnson, and someone else just became a billionaire too, in addition to Magic. So let's say we're pushing 24 billionaires. We've never had 24 billionaires in American history. Now, Magic Johnson got his restaurants, he got his movie studios, no disrespect to Magic, but guess what? Not one of those billionaires, not one of them by themselves or together, has built a relevant institution for Black America. Once again, school, bank, hospital, supermarket, manufacturing, distribution. I'll be going to Panama in January, Central America, for the first time, because the Garveyites, the Pan-Africanists in Panama, they're trying to revive Marcus Garvey's, the Honorable Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. Beautiful. That was incorporated in Delaware, by the way, where the school is located. But anyhow, they're trying to rebirth the Black Star Line. And why? Because without global distribution, you'll never compete with the Arabs. You'll never compete with the Europeans. You'll never compete with the Anglo-Saxons or the Chinese. We're the only people without a global distribution network. If you want to sell something to brothers and sisters in Africa, if you want to sell something to brothers and sisters in Haiti, if you want to sell something to brothers and sisters in California, if you want to sell something to brothers and sisters in the UK, you have to go to somebody who doesn't look like you in order to fly it, to float it, or to ship it. That is why Black people remain where we are, because we are not sufficient and sophisticated enough to keep everything completely Black owned, from manufacturing to distribution. Why aren't the celebrities thinking about distribution? Our Black music companies don't even distribute their own music. They can't even distribute their own music. Every Black record company is tied into a white company for their distribution. None of them have their own distribution company. Why? We're comfortable depending on white people, and at the same time, we don't want to come together to do anything for our own people.
Man, we were just thinking about that when it came to distribution of the music. I remember back in the 90s, we were thinking, man, we got to start our own distribution company. It's not about the record company. We got plenty of those.
That's right.
Around the country, we watched Master P go around and did what he did, which was legendary, which was create his own distribution system, which is the reason why he was successful. All the answers are there. If we can create our own, we'll have some success.
Yeah.
But that takes love, though. See, somebody asked me, Dr. Umar, why we never do what we need to do? We only react to racism. And this is why the white man will always be 2 chess moves in front of the Black man, because the Black man only reacts to racism. We only react to racism. So the white man knows how to push our buttons, where to push our buttons, and when to push our buttons. We only react, the riots, the rebellions, the protests. We're only reacting to racism. So why don't we proactively do what we need to do? You know why? It takes love to do that. You got to have love to say, I'm going to build a school for Black kids. I'm not even worrying. I'm not going to wait till they get miseducated. I'm not going to wait till they get medicated. I'm not going to wait till they get misdiagnosed. I'm not going to wait till they get expelled. I'm not going to wait till they start pushing, the rainbow agenda on the kids. I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to build a school for Black kids because I love Black children. I'm going to build a hospital for Black people because I love Black people. I'm going to create jobs for Black men because I love our people. Black people don't have the love in their heart that they need. We think we love ourselves. No, we don't. We have a little bit of love there, but you don't have enough of it that spurs you into action, because right now we should be in a renaissance of institution building. Black America needs a renaissance of institution building. Even if the billionaires would come together and create their own self-sufficient community, that would be a good place to start. But they're not even trying to do that, because most Black folks, going back to plantation psychology, most Black people are only motivated to imitate white people and to gain acceptance into their world. What is the first thing we do when we get a doctorate degree? We move into a white neighborhood. What's the first thing we do when we get our second master's or a good paying job? We move into a white neighborhood. Look at the amount of black women who are running around with blonde hair on their heads. It's absolutely insane. You know, chocolate, beautifully, deeply melanated black women with blonde wigs and weaves on your head. You are imitating white women. Why? Because you want to be them. Look at educated black men who marry outside of their community more than all other men put together per capita in America. And you've only been allowed to do it nationally since 1967. So only talking about 50 something years. And black men have set a record for marrying outside of their community. Why? We want to be white people. And since we can't be white, at least we can gain acceptance by white people.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, you know, I've mentioned this before on the show, definitely integration was one of the worst things that ever happened to us because we lost our collective minds. But we're about solutions here on the show. So I am curious. I mean, we got the BAA. We definitely big up and recognize the work that they're doing as far as activating and working and moving on that wheel. But how, in your opinion, Dr. Umar, how do we turn the tide? How do we get people to kind of, you know, get the love and see and feel the love that they need and we need to get what we need to be done? Like, how do we lift those mental chains that, you know, still exist from slavery?
Great question. And a quick point of clarity on your comment on integration. America never integrated black people. They only desegregated black people. And I want to make sure we understand the difference. In order to integrate, you guarantee participation. You guarantee participation. America has never done that. Not in the military, not in the school system, not in the public sector. They've never guaranteed integration. They've only legally desegregated, which means you remove the barriers to participation, but you do not guarantee the participation. You see the difference. That's like there's a corner store that don't want no black people coming into that corner store to shop. The government passes a law and says the corner store can no longer keep you out. But the government never went to the corner store and said, come on inside and do your shopping. Do you see the difference there? Okay. It's like you move into a white suburb, right? The law says they cannot keep you out. But once you get into that white suburb, you suffer every type of injustice you possibly could because the white suburb only legally desegregated. It never integrated. It never did anything to guarantee your participation. So I want to make sure we understand that the government desegregated, they never integrated. It was black people after the death of Dr. King, because of our love for white people and white society, we forced ourselves on white people. And we did it in areas of society where we didn't need to do that. You understand? So for example, there's only one criminal justice system. We got to fight for justice. There's only one electoral system. We got to fight for justice. But guess what? You can build your own schools. You can build your own businesses. You can build your own communities. So why are we forcing our way into white society for certain aspects of life that we should be doing ourselves? I'll give you one. Black history in the school system. Philadelphia, we here were the first to force the school system to include Black history. It was done by some of our great elders who are now ancestors, Dr. Ed Robinson, Calvin Robinson, and some others. I did not support it. I didn't work against it because I don't believe you should ever work against anything that's not going to be completely detrimental, but I didn't support it. And people asked me. I was speaking at a conference at Temple University in COBRA, National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. This was some time ago. And they asked me why I didn't support Black history in the schools. And you know what I told them? I said, why do I want white women teaching Black girls who they are? Why do I want white women teaching my daughter about Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, Anna Julia Cooper, Coretta Scott King? Why do I want a white woman interpreting my daughter's cultural history for her? Why do I want a white man teaching Black boys about Malcolm and Medgar and Huey and the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey? Why do I want a white man teaching our boys about Nat Turner and Gabriel Prosser? The Black community should be teaching its children who they are. So that's an example of where we're fighting for white people to do something we should be doing. I don't see Jews begging Germans to teach their kids Jewish history. You see what I'm saying? So we have gotten so stuck on integration that we're literally fighting for white people to do things that only black people should be doing. Now, you asked about solutions. The solution is simple. Everybody knows it, but nobody wants to hear it. The solution is to do exactly what we did with the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Build your own. That means like-minded people have to come together with their money and not words. With their money and not words. One of our weaknesses as a race is we are big on words. We love to talk. We love to grandstand. We love to show off. We love to meet. But when it comes time to put your money in the pot so we can open up that clinic, open up that school over there, open up a military community surveillance self-patrol system, that takes money. The revolution will not be financed by your enemy. It has to be financed by you. So where the contradiction comes in is we will do all the planning, but the execution is never carried out because there's not enough money in the pot to do it. Black people's Achilles heel is that we don't like to use our money to empower ourselves politically and economically, not in a collective way. That's why everybody outdoes us. Mexicans, you got the Ukrainians, they're outdoing you. You got the Cambodians in America, they're outdoing you. You got the migrants coming in, they're going to outdo us. Not just because white people are helping them outdo us, because that's a part of it, but the other part, they have something we don't have: cultural cohesion, cultural continuity, and cultural collectiveness. You still got black people arguing over whether we from Africa or not 400 years after the fact. You see that? You got Negroes running around talking about some they Cherokees and Choctaws and Native Americans and all this other stuff. Won't let them on a plantation. Won't let them on an Indian reserve nowhere in America because of the self-hate of African people. So we would rather waste our time on philosophy rather than practical application. Everybody wants to talk. Nobody wants to do the damn work. Find people of like minds. You're not going to save everybody. The quickest road to failure in this revolution of survival, because let me be clear, brothers and sisters, we've had 4 great periods in our history. First, we had to fight to prove our humanity. Because remember, when we were brought here, we were not even considered to be human beings. We had to fight for our humanity. Then we had to fight for our liberty, freedom. Then we had to fight for our equality, humanity, liberty, equality. First 100 years, second 100 years, third 100 years. Now we in the 4th. And you know what we're fighting for now? Survival. They want to eliminate the American African from American society. That's what this is about. This is why in Chicago and New York, they're bringing the migrants in to replace black people. This is why you're seeing all kinds of other non-black people come in and take over the conversation about civil rights, take over the conversation about so-called minority groups. This is why black history is no longer given the attention it used to be given in this country. They are literally washing us out with brown people, washing us out with yellow people, and washing us out with European white people.
So that kind of brings me to another conversation that we wanted to have with you and Brother Qasim, as far as nationalism. It's a term that we kind of throw around, we use, but some people in our audience or that might be listening might not be familiar, especially with so-called black nationalism. Can you kind of speak to what that means? Go ahead,
before we jump into that though, I just want to acknowledge what it is that you were just talking about. We're over here at First Sky Omaha. We're in season 6. We call this "Boost to the Roots" is the theme of this season, and so we're really resonating with what you're saying about it's time for some action. It's we've been discussing things for several seasons now. That action piece is definitely what we're feeling, where we're at. We're trying to get people get galvanized and get going. And the biggest thing I'm taking away from what you're talking about is this need for this unity. We definitely have this situation going on in Omaha, Nebraska right now, where we're trying to really actively build some unity because we've pared it down to that is what is really going on. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge, beautiful words that you're saying about the situation, about what we need. Also, I wanted to jump into the chat real quick before we get into this next subject. It's 8:38, by the way, for those of you that believe in the concept of time. Wanda Lewis in the chat was when you were talking about the opposition you were getting for building the school. She asked earlier, may I ask if these oppositional people are in leadership position?
No,
because we've been talking. Okay, no. So
they're
most of the
not
opposition is
leaders.
from
These
different.
are YouTubian struggle streamers. Negroes with a cell phone account and a YouTube platform. That's it. They're not leaders. They are unhappy, disgruntled people who failed that life, never did anything with themselves. And so now they want to find any black man or woman who's doing better than them and try to destroy their work. You know, there was a big thing that happened. You guys probably saw it, where DJ Envy and that whole real estate scam thing. And I don't know much about that at all. Of course, I know brother DJ Envy from my relationship with the Breakfast Club. But, you know, and of course, I don't know all the facts. I want to say that up front. But I thought it was it was so embarrassing to watch all the black men who went after DJ Envy, who tried to destroy him and are currently trying to get him fired from the Breakfast Club. Now, if Envy is guilty, he got to be held accountable. But from what I heard him say, he said, I never took any money from anybody, anytime, as it relates to this particular gentleman. Yes, I brought him on the Breakfast Club. Yes, I did some seminars with him, but I never was involved in any money. I never took anything from anybody. From what I got from that, Envy was simply using his platform to try to help another brother or friend of his, I don't know if they're friends or not, build up his real estate business. He didn't know anything about the scamming because he's too busy to worry about the scamming. So, but I saw people go after him and attack him and try to destroy him, not even knowing the whole story. I'm just bringing that up as a quick example of how trifling black men have gotten in this quest to destroy black men who are doing better than us. It's a shame. You know, and we already have a unity problem. We already got a unity problem. And we're making it even more difficult for black men to unite with other black men, because it's at a point now you don't know who you can trust, because there's always a jealous ninja right around the corner masquerading as a true supporter. So it's very dangerous. Even me, every time I meet a new black contractor, every time I meet a new brother or sister in the street who say, Dr. Umar, I want to work with you. Are you really here to try to help? Or are you here to try to use me to benefit yourself? And if you don't get what you want, you're going to try to burn down the building on your way out the back door. That's how sad it is with no other culture. You cannot go on YouTube and find Mexicans tearing down Mexicans the way we do it. You can't find it. Jews tearing down Jews. But you could go on the internet and see black women, hundreds of pages dedicated to the slander and destruction of black males and their images. And on the flip side, black men, hundreds of pages dedicated to the slander and destruction of the black woman's public image. What the hell are we doing where we're turning on each other? But guess what? One of the final stages of white supremacy in the destruction of African life and existence, one of the final stages of white supremacy in the destruction of African life and existence is to get the oppressed to turn on each other. That's one of the final stages. That's when the enemy withdraws from the ghetto. He withdraws from the situation altogether and just watch the oppressed self-destruct.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, you can see it in the music. You can see it in the music. It's all demon time, ops, and you know, we all, you know, it's all self-destruction. And we kind of got
to
the
your
warning.
point about the music, I'm trying to understand how we've been celebrating 50 years of hip-hop all year. All year. We got 2 months left. 50 years of hip-hop. I grew up in the hip-hop generation. You guys have as well. And I'm trying to understand how there hasn't been one serious conversation. 365 days in a year, 10 months down, 2 months to go, not a single serious conversation anywhere on the impact of hip-hop or the benefit of hip-hop to the black community. I ain't seen a YouTube page. I ain't seen none of these hip-hop events. I ain't seen none of these documentaries deal with it. You mean to tell me that this is the most popular music genre in the world? Hip-hop is the most influential music genre in the world. Billions of dollars generated every year for 50 years. Not a single institution in the black community in 50 years. How do you not talk about that? But you turn on the YouTube and everybody bling bling and everybody got their Gucci and they Louis and they Nike. Everybody got their big homes and cars and airplanes. And you mean to tell me we're going to let this year go out? 50 years of hip hop, and we're not going to talk about how hip hop has contributed to black on black crime, contributed to the miscegenation of black women. We're not going to talk about how hip hop glamorizes and popularizes conspicuous consumption and imitation of European idealism. We're just going to let it go by like hip hop has been nothing but a blessing to the black community. Hip hop needs to go in the damn trash. If they're not going to fix it, do away with it. The way I look at hip hop is the same way I look at the black church. If you ain't going to fix the black church and turn it into an agent of support and liberation, destroy the damn thing. Hip hop is not benefiting the black community at all.
So on that note, and this goes back to the question I was asking as far as nationalism and having a national mindset. A lot of the arguments that I hear, especially with hip hop, is that, and this is specifically, I just saw a video of a man commenting on. There's a video of a 9-year-old rapping about the same stuff we're talking about. He's 9, talking about guns, talking about sliding on ops and all the demon time and all the young euphemisms that we're hearing. And he's saying, but this young man would actually be doing that stuff. And the whole argument is that these individuals are benefiting. These individuals are having their lives changed. And, you know, although they might be talking about the violence and talking about whatever it is that they're talking about in the music, these individuals are making money and these individuals are changing the lives of their families. But as far as a collective thing, we're not speaking on that impact. So can you kind of speak to what will it take to get us to get to a collective state of mind? Because there is the argument. Some people are saying hip hop is making millionaires. Like there are people in the community that are benefiting individually, but it seems like collectively.
But see, this is where the selfishness of the Negro comes in. This is where radical individualism is destroying the black community.
Right.
It's not about how it benefits individuals. That's not African culture. That's not who we are. It's not about individuals. It's about the community. It's about the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. The greatest good for the greatest amount of people. That's the question. You can't say, well, we got 24 billionaires, so hip hop is benefiting the black people. How is hip hop contributing to the greatest good for the greatest number? And let me tell you what happened. Up until gangster rap, religious principles and radical black activism were the primary factors of loyalty in the black community. You was either loyal to a black church that usually was fighting for black people, or you was loyal to the Panthers, you was loyal to SNCC, you was loyal to CORE, you was loyal to the Nation of Islam, you was loyal to the Most Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, you was loyal to the Black Liberation Army, you was loyal to the Black Guerrilla Family, but you was loyal to an entity that was engaging in some positivity in the black community. Everything changed when crack hit the community. Everything changed when crack. We still haven't fully analyzed how chemical warfare and biological warfare of the 1980s is responsible for so much of what we're dealing with now. Chemical warfare in crack, biological warfare in the AIDS epidemic. Those two things turned the black community upside down. And in the aftermath of that, not that they're over because they're still here, okay? But in the limited aftermath of that, we saw what? The rise of gangster rap, where those who were most despised in the black community became the heroes and the leaders. Let me say this again.
Pushers and the pimps.
Remember, the pushers and the pimps were never the heroes. After 1980, they would become the heroes because they had the money. They had the money. And at the same time, you got Ronald Reagan doing all he can to roll back the civil rights gains of the 60s. So black people were in a state of economic depression. You see that? And material destruction. And all we saw was the rise of the drug dealer and the gangster rapper. And not only did our children cling to them, the black churches cling to them as well. Oh yeah, remember the drug dealers used to pay for the graduations. The drug dealers used to pay for the block parties. So the drug dealers became the heroes. And so what happened was the economic reorganization of the black community destroyed our political principles as a people, to the point now our children only worship one thing, and that's money, not God.
And we need to, and we as a couple musicians, we definitely need to make mention as well the white companies that have been making millions of dollars off of this music. being a little bit on the inside of that industry, we figured out that they were really pushing young black kids to really degrade themselves and speak on all these degrading things
Man.
because they knew that it was selling, and they would, and that's what these white companies really wanted to push. I see a lot of
Absolutely.
people,
And we went along with it. Remember this. If you've ever played sports and you lose, you never blame the other team for losing. You blame yourself. The European Jews who control black music are not to be blamed because they're not a part of our community. You see that?
Mm.
If you lose to the basketball team, do you blame the basketball team for losing? They're on the court to do what? Defeat you. The football team is on the court to do what? Defeat you. The soccer team is on the field to do what? Defeat you. So you never look across the aisle and say, if you never showed up to play, I would have never lost. The whole purpose for being on the field is to be destroyed, either victory or defeat. Victory or defeat. So we got to look at ourselves. We can't point at the European Jews and say, well, y'all the ones who are financing this, publishing this, selling this. They are. But when have they ever been your friend? Didn't they finance the slave ships? Didn't they insure the slaves on the slave ships? Wasn't they some of the biggest plantation owners? So if they did that to your ancestors 400 years ago, why in the hell you expecting them to save you now? I'm blaming the black community for allowing the gangster rapper to become a hero.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
And to move on to what buddy you were bringing up about, because I really wanted to get this thing before we get out of here too, to make people understand about black nationalism. Brother Qasim, you come on and you talk. You say you call yourself a black nationalist. We ask you questions, and you say because I'm a black nationalist and because this and this and that. And we hear this all the time, and it occurred to me. Me and Buddy know what that means, but maybe everybody that's listening don't. So we appreciate you putting that in the conversation each time you come on, and we were very anxious to hear Dr. Umar give if you could possibly give us an explanation to people as if they don't know what that is, and then and then go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, but even before that, not just what it is, but why is this? We're ending the conversation on this for a reason. Why is nationalism? Why is having a national mindset, standing on national principles, being a nation? Why is that important, and why is that the solution to everything we've been talking about?
All nationalism means is self-determination.
That's it.
Self-determination. Your right and your willingness to take control over your own destiny. As black people, we are the enemies of the planet Earth. So you don't have a choice but to be a nationalist because no other people is going to look out for black folks. We got to understand something. Our success is other people's failure. Our success, look how much money is made off the NBA. 87% black athletes. Look at how much money is made off the NFL. Over 75% black athletes. Look at all the money made off of black music. So look at all the money made off of black entertainment. Look at all the money made off of black culture. You see that? So these are non-black people who are benefiting from the fact that you do not want responsibility for creating and protecting your own cultural products and your own cultural brands. And let us be clear, black people don't want responsibility. That is the essence of what we're talking about. The antithesis to nationalism is individualism.
Mm-hmm.
Nationalism is collectivism. Individualism is do for my own self, and that's it. And that's where we are as African people. It's all about the individual. For example, when we talk about the miseducation of black children or the delinquency of black boys, first thing somebody says is their mothers need to do a better job. Well, last time I checked, we African people, at least I'm African, okay? And in African culture, it's not about what the mother is doing. It's about the community. The community controls, not the mother. Most black kids are raised by single black moms. We're going to make the single black mother the scapegoat for everything going on with black youth?
Nope.
What about the black church? What about the black celebrities? What about the black activists? What about the black professionals, the politicians, the business owners? No. We don't want no responsibility for helping anything in the black community. So we like the scapegoat individuals. That's where we are. And it's a shame because everybody else is laughing at us. In fact, they find it hard to even respect us as a people because when they get on YouTube, they see black people talking about everything but the right thing. This conversation we're having right now, this is rare on YouTube, brother. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You get on your YouTube, you scroll through the page, they talk about who shot Tupac, who shot Biggie. What about that beef you had 20 years ago? What about the beef you had 35 years ago? What color socks you put on today? Where did you have your lunch at yesterday? When is New Edition going on the next tour? What's the name of Beyonce next album? If you looked at Black YouTube and Black Twitter, you would not think Black people were in a crisis. If you came from another planet and came to planet Earth, you would not know only 1 out of every 4 of our boys are graduating from high school. You would not know 2 out of every 4 of our children are growing up in poverty. You would not know that our Black girls between the age of 13 and 17 are most likely to be kidnapped and sexually trafficked. You would not know half the Black men in most major cities are unemployed. You would not know that if you judged from Twitter and YouTube. You know why? Black people do not give a damn about what happens to Black people. They only care about what happens to themselves.
Man, a lot of years of conditioning.
It is. It is.
And that's why I'm building the school. People say, why are you starting with the school for? You know, why don't you build a military? Build a military so you ninjas could turn around and shoot each other? Because what's going to happen is going to turn into nothing but a competition of ego. What got Malcolm X killed? The ego of a Negro. Okay? Who helped participate in Dr. King's assassination? Ego of a Negro. Who got Patrice Lumumba killed? Ego of the Negro. Who got Kwame Nkrumah overthrown? Ego of the Negro. Do you realize most of our great Black leaders? Who got Marcus Garvey imprisoned and deported? The ego of the Negro. Most of our great Black men were undermined by jealous Negroes in their inner circle.
It didn't take much for
white man didn't have to do nothing. He just had to sit back and watch the ego of the Negro play itself out. 75% of our leaders were destroyed by Black people, not whites.
COINTELPRO, look at it. COINTELPRO would not have existed and would not have been successful had it not been for individuals who looked like, who had the skin complexion, was in the community, and they were moles.
You can't destroy Black people without Black people. But I just want to say this, though. I want to say I'm very much looking forward to coming back. Shout out to Brother Qasim and his organization. This will only be my second visit to Omaha, by the way. The first time was 2016. Baba Sundiata brought me to the University of Nevada. It was packed out. I'll never forget it. I didn't know it was that many Black people in Omaha. But that was a Black History Month of 2016. So it's been about, 7 years? And only my second visit, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And I want to thank the brother on the screen and his organization, the BAA, for making this happen. So December the 2nd, make sure y'all in the building. Dr. Umar is coming, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong Consciousness, most requested Black scholar in the world. I will be in Omaha, God willing. And I also want to say, if there's anybody who needs to reach me between now and then, if there's parents who got issues with their children and they cannot wait till December and they need to schedule a consultation, please reach out to me. My cell number is 215-989-9858. That's 215-989-9858. Anybody can reach out to me by text message. Don't call me because I don't answer the phone. Text me. And if we need to schedule a consultation, we can do that. But please have your children's paperwork. Nothing worse than doing a consultation with a parent who ain't got nothing and don't know nothing. Get your paperwork together. Look at it. And so, because I'm going to ask you some questions. If you don't know what your child's disability is, we got a problem. You don't know when the last time your child was evaluated, we got a problem. You don't know when the next IEP is due, we got a problem. You don't know if your child is in special ed part-time or full-time, we got a problem. Know your child's case. Don't put them in special ed if you're not going to look out for them.
There you go.
Thank you.
Brother Qasim, real question for you in the chat real quick. And I'd like you to answer this while we have Dr. Umar on so he knows what's going on. Qasim, who are true allies in Black Omaha? Give me 2.
True allies, man. I got to say Untamed. I love Assembly of the Saints. NOCP. I gave you 3.
There you go.
There you go.
So when you come to town, we obviously gotta meet with these folks. We are in the business of gathering like-minded people.
Sorry, 4. Gave you 4.
Us. Okay,
No, us.
Appreciate
Okay.
that. Yeah. Appreciate that. But yes, I think that's a great thing. We're kind of in the business of meeting of the minds, trying to find like-minded individuals in order to get to that point of action as well. So when you come to town, we'll definitely get a hold of all those ones that Brother Qasim feels that are true allies, and meet up and have some discussion. And we really look forward to you being here, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it as well, man. It's been so long. This will almost be like a brand new debut.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
I got to get to Omaha more often, but I go where the invitations come. Sometimes I feel guilty because places like Omaha, I can add to that list Kansas City, where I might be going the day after Omaha. I can add to that list Little Rock, Phoenix, Seattle, Portland, Des Moines. These are a lot of places where Chattanooga. These are a lot of places where, I got strong bases of support, but I don't get an opportunity to travel as much. The New Yorks, the Chicagos, the LAs, the Atlantas, the Baltimores, they get me all the time. And, unfortunately, with the school coming, I won't be traveling as much. This is probably my last great year traveling, to be honest with you, because once the school opens up, obviously I got to have all hands on deck to make sure the children are getting educated. And I do want to say thank you to all of my donors in Nebraska and across the Midwest, because we do get donations from Nebraska. We don't get a whole bunch of them, but we do get enough of them, enough for me to remember them. So for them brothers and sisters who send in donations and make them on the Cash App and on the PayPal, please continue to do that. And I'm hoping that those people who have donated to the school will come to the grand opening. We plan on having a community grand opening sometime in the new year. Okay, and that will only be for people who have donated. So for those who want to be a part of that historic event, when we open up the building to the community, before we open it up to the children, you must have been a donor. If you're not a donor, you will not be allowed inside.
Okay. And I personally would like to invite you back to First Sky Omaha. We would definitely love to continue having conversations with you. This is the platform where we try to get down to the nitty gritty of what's really going on in our communities, find some solutions and education, knowing that that's your focus is a big conversation that we're having in our community, because there's not, it's not a lot. It's not enough. It's definitely in our communities.
Sure. And we could probably go ahead and hop back on, depending on what your schedules look like in mine. We should be able to hop back on before December 2nd, just to give people that last reminder and that last push. So that wouldn't be a problem. Just shoot me a text message and let me know when y'all want to rock. Again, 215-989-9858.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Don't forget to get your tickets, man. He's coming out in person December 2nd, 4 p.m. It's going down. Where can we get tickets from, Brother Qasim?
So we got the Cash App up there, and we got the PayPal. We'll have physical tickets here by the end of today. I will let everybody know, being that we are a self-sufficient organization, all proceeds go back to our 8-acre land development, in which we paid cash money for out of our own pockets. All of the proceeds go back toward our Black youth programming that we run and operate on our own with absolutely without any funding at all whatsoever. So we take great pride in that. So, I've always been told that you never take something without giving something in return, and bringing Dr. Umar is ideal to that. Been able to demonstrate on that front of a transformational lecture, and the people of the community know how to BAA get down, man. So that's what it is.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll be talking to you, brother, soon. Thank you very much for your time, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother Qasim, we wrap. Peace, family.
Peace.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Umar Ifantunde.
Yeah, thank you.
And also Brother Qasim for coming on, and also thanks to the brother senators Terrelle McKinney and Justin Wayne on today too. Jam-packed show. Apologize for not being able to get all of your comments in. Of course, if you miss any parts of this show or the interviews or any of the chats, then go back and check it out in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. If you run the YouTube video, you can scroll down. You'll see the chats come in as they come in, the time that they come in during the video. So that's how you check them out over there. But definitely check those out. And again, next time he's on, we'll go through some of these chats and maybe send some questions over as well. We'll do that again so that we can make sure that we get everybody's comments and questions in to the brother before we let him go the next time. So again, I apologize for not being able to get to all of your chats, but I really appreciate everybody who spoke up, who chimed in. And just, it's phenomenal that we have such a great chat that can be a part of this conversation. So really appreciate that very much.
Yeah. And hopefully everybody, got something out of this. A lot of people asking great show, phenomenal show. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, again, as we mentioned, hopefully we can get them back to talk more about it, and definitely make sure y'all show up to that event. And let's take something from this. You know what I mean? Let's actually work towards the very things that we've been talking about. It's very interesting to hear Dr. Umar kind of say some of the similar things that we were saying on Friday. As far as, do we really believe? Do we really love each other? Do we really, we have everything. Like, we talk about this hundreds of millions of dollars coming in, but that's not going to make or break us. That's not the end all be all. We have trillions of dollars as a people. We are, like, just as a people alone, one of the top 10 richest nations in the world. In the world. So it's not really about the money. We have everything that we need. Do we believe that? Are we going to step and walk in that energy?
Most def, most def. Yep. Um, yeah, I love it. I love that we can. I love we can continue in this train of thought here, because it's
Yeah,
very
man.
necessary. It's interesting. If any of you guys been following us this whole time, I know ghost listeners and chat chimers have. But so you've heard us over and over again talking about all these different subjects when it comes to housing, comes to the 531 money that's coming in, millions of dollars coming in North and South Omaha. It always boils down to how much unity do we have as a community, and what can we do in order to solidify some community with each other in order to be able to receive bigger benefits. Can only as an individual, you can only reach as far as your arms let you reach out, but collectively we can grab a bigger piece of the pie. We can grab bigger institutions, do bigger things for our communities, build a village back in order for the kids to be able to have some support beyond their what's going on in their households. So we boil that down to, especially in the black community, like-minded individuals along with the black community. We need some solidarity. Got to have some community together. Got to be able to get together and get on the same page, and not be about the individual each and every time. So it's really interesting to hear that from him, and to keep on going there. So
Yeah, man.
we'll keep on talking about it, man. Like I said, this platform has turned from a morning show style news channel, weather and traffic headlines. It's turned into a vehicle to find like-minded individuals, and in order to get to that point of creating some unity between these all of us, and building something bigger than us, and finding
Yeah,
solutions that only we can do together.
man.
So
That's it. Teamwork, making that dream work. That's what it's about. Ms. Wanda Lewis saying, and what we do with what we get is important. Definitely, it's not about the possessing of the thing; it's the knowing to use the thing. You can just have it, but what do you do with it?
word up. Appreciate everyone here. Let's go ahead and get out of here. It's already 9:06. If you believe in the concept of time, we apologize for going past the time frame here, but we appreciate everybody that's sticking with us. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, this show definitely flew by, man. In the words of Pops, man, some of the fastest 2 hours in the world. We appreciate, again, our guests today, the brother senators Terrelle McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Also, brother Qasim, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. Big shout out to all the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners, everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you as well. And yeah, man, we're trying to figure this out, trying to, get through this together, because that's the only way it's gonna happen. So we appreciate you. Catch the same time, same place on Wednesday. Reminder: we are expecting brother Willie Barney to make a return. So again, we just getting this week started, man. It's gonna be a very, very interesting week. Very exciting shows for this week. So again, get your questions ready. Tune in for that one. Tell a friend to come through. Some of the most important conversations in the community happening right here, right now. So yeah, man. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tune in. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo,
take it away.
yo. Pop says, phenomenal show. Thanks for this education. Appreciate you, Pops. Also, Stacey Jean says, great show. Vaughn Chapman says, phenomenal program. Appreciate that. Wanda Lewis said, y'all did that. I appreciate you very much. Tamika Johnson gives us a thank you and peace sign. Appreciate that. Thanks for everybody that enjoyed the show. Wanda Lewis said, every minute was worth it. I appreciate you
Man,
very much. Marianne Williams says, great job, First Guy, in bringing in diversity of ideas and voices to the show. Thank you. Appreciate you very much. Again, please go back and look at everybody's chat. I feel really bad when I don't get a chance to read all the chats. But when it comes to guests like this, I know that it's going to be a lot of people chiming in which y'all did, and I really appreciate the fact that you did that. So go
Yeah.
back and check these shows out on Facebook and YouTube. Definitely dig into the chat, find out about the comments and the questions that are there. When we have Brother Umar back, we'll pull some of the questions and comments that from this show and from others. If you have more, go ahead and send them to firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. And we'll try to craft a few more questions and a few more ways that we can get more questions in with the brother when he comes back. Appreciate you very much. Miss Erica Fell says, great show. Be good to yourselves. Drink water and direct your moves. I like it. I like it. Thanks again. We want to give a shout out to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land. Give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you and you speak with us on a lot of these subjects here. It really enhances everything, and we can't do the show without you. We really appreciate you very much. Also, we want to give thanks to all the supporters that are supporting the channel, the $10 people, the $15 or $25 people, the $50 people, everybody who's supporting this channel in order for us to get to the next level with trainings, with news, with roundtables, and all the things that we're planning on trying to do in 2024. And of course, these discussions that we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 to 9 right here in Omaha, Nebraska, and also from the offices in Atlanta as well.
Yeah, man.
So again, thank you very much for everybody who's done that. If you are so inclined to donate to this cause, go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and help us keep this rolling. So with that said, we're going to get out of here. Again, my name is Paul B. I'm here with Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
We'll see you with Willie Barney on Wednesday. Special guest coming on through as well. So join us Wednesday, 7 o'clock Central Time right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
And we'll have you guys have a great one.
Peace.
Peace. Take care of yourselves, please.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red